this is Gilbert Gottfried, and this is Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Obsessions. I'm here with my co-host, Frank Santopadre.
Again?
Yes.
What do we got this week?
Okay.
What's up in Judaism?
A movie directed by a Jew.
Okay.
Starring a Jew.
Wow. I walked right into this.
The great Billy Wilder.
Ooh.
Is
yes,
the director.
An Austrian Jew.
An Austrian Jew.
Yeah.
And the Jewish star of this, Kirk Douglas.
Oh, I know this movie. This is a good movie.
Yes.
With 2 titles.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
You're absolutely right.
No stumping me, buddy.
Yeah.
10 o'clock here on a Wednesday.
The most famous of the 2 titles is Ace in the Hole.
That's right.
And would you like to tell the other title?
I think it was The Big Carnival.
The Big Carnival is
Right.
absolutely correct.
Right.
And this was a movie. The plot is in, I think it's Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That sounds right. I haven't seen it in years.
Where I think they shot, we shot A Million Ways to Die in the West.
You did?
There. With Seth MacFarlane, I was Abraham
You
Lincoln.
sure were.
Yes.
You stole the movie from me.
Yes. And it's supposed to be that there are these coal miners, and there's a mine disaster, and a mine collapses, and one guy is trapped. Mm-hmm. And Kirk Douglas starts communicating with him through a small hole in the mountain. And Kirk Douglas is a down-on-his-luck reporter who's losing all his jobs, and he's stuck in the middle of nowhere. And now this is making him important. And he's now calling up his newspaper, and now they desperately want him back, and they're giving him a raise. And he's getting more and more important. The other reporters are jealous of him because he's the only one with access to this coal miner. And then quickly, the town gets involved because they see this is a big event. And more people are selling stuff around, and the entire thing becomes a carnival,
right.
A literal carnival
right.
with rides and attractions. Yeah. And, there's a crooked sheriff. There's one guy at one point who quietly comes in and when they're doing a TV report, and he says, well, I've worked in mines, and there's an easier and quicker way than the one you're doing. And they quickly shut him up because they want this. They want to soak it for what it's worth. Mm-hmm. And everybody in the movie is unsympathetic,
right.
with the exception of that one guy in the coal mine. And it shows how the news loves tragedy. And, just the public is in love with tragedy. And it's just as relevant today.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even more so than when it came out.
Oh, yeah. Well, Wilder was a master of cynicism, and that's arguably his most cynical movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's very dark.
And Kirk Douglas loved the idea of playing a totally unsympathetic character.
Which he didn't do often.
No.
Yeah.
So because he had those movie star looks.
Right.
So they would cast him in heroic parts. But in there, he's like, he's unsympathetic and everybody.
I haven't seen it in years. I remember liking it very much when I was on a Wilder kick when I was in college. Interestingly, there's an Andy Griffith show where Andy gets trapped in a cave. And communicates with Barney and Goober through in a previous episode, you leapt to Denver Pile. That's neither here nor there. But it's a terrific movie. I have very good memories of it. Yeah. I love Wilder.
And real film noir in that it's so down.
Yeah. And I think that there was a movie a couple years ago with Travolta and Dustin Hoffman called Mad City,
Oh, yes.
which was treading in the same territory.
Yeah, not as good. Was that the one, did it have Andy Garcia?
I don't remember, but my recollection of it was
Yeah.
that they were trying to do Ace in the Hole.
Oh, yeah.
That it was a similar story. Yeah, well, second Wilder film you've picked. You picked Double Indemnity. On a previous show. I mean, arguably the greatest American director of Hollywood's golden age.
Yeah.
Because he could do dramas like Ace in the Hole or Stalag 17 or Double Indemnity, and then he could do light fare like The Apartment or Some Like It. Oh, The Apartment's pretty dark, but Some Like It Hot or The Fortune Cookie.
And I remember in Stalag 17, he used another director, Otto Preminger, as the Nazi.
That's right. Otto Preminger was notoriously difficult to work with, they say.
Yeah.
Even if you listen to stories of interviews with Adam West and talking about when he played Mr. Freeze,
People
they had their hands
hated
full with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a liked guy.
No.
But he did give the world Skidoo.
Yeah.
That one is for Drew Friedman. My film, interestingly, is also about a tragedy.
Yes. This podcast. Yes.
Oh, it's the Sinbad movie you brought up before. When the mics were off. What was the name of that one?
Run right now to see House Guest.
What was it? House what?
House Guest.
House Guest.
With one of the last times the tragic what's his name for whose wife shot him?
Oh, Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
That had to be one of his last things.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those movies that, aside from being really bad and every character's an idiot, it's also like a 2-hour commercial for McDonald's.
Oh, really? A lot of product placement.
There's a part in the movie where he's walking through the town, he sees a McDonald's and his eyes open up wide, and then in slow motion
Hilarious.
he's running as they're playing You Deserve a Break Today.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, so it's a good film.
How about House Guest, House Party, and House Sitter?
Oh,
all in
yeah.
one
I was in
triple.
House Party 3.
With Kid and Play? You in one of those?
Yes.
Because you're down with the hood.
Yeah,
Who's
yo.
Who's blacker than you? My tragedy film is not the Sinbad film, and it's not Carrot Top and Chairman of the Board. It's a movie, and this is funny. How many of these have we done? And I don't think I've brought up my favorite contemporary actor. I mean, I love Paul Newman. We've talked a lot about Paul Newman. I think,
half a Jew.
Half a Jew, Paul Newman. I don't think you're not going to get any Jewishness here. But for all intents and purposes, my favorite leading man of the last 15 or 20 years is Jeff Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
Who I think is a terribly underrated actor who's made a slew of wonderful movies, and this may be my favorite. This is from 1991 called The Fisher King.
Oh, it's Robin Williams.
With Robin Williams. Do you know this one?
Oh, yeah.
And Bridges plays a kind of Howard Stern character.
Yeah.
Shock Jock, who inadvertently causes a tragedy. He eggs on a mentally unstable caller who winds up committing a crime, a murder that takes the life of Robin Williams' wife in the film. Robin Williams is introduced to us as a homeless person in the park, who we later come to know we find out that he's a professor at Hunter College. And this tragedy that happens that Jeff Bridges' character is the indirect cause of causes Robin Williams' character to lose his mind and search for the Holy Grail. And that's a lot of plot.
Yes.
But that's what the movie's about. It's a very original story by a guy named Richard LaGravenese. A very, very effective film. Mercedes Ruehl turns up, and in fact, she won the Oscar.
Oh, wow.
As Jeff Bridges' girlfriend. Do you remember the film?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And Robin Williams is just terrific in it. And there's a little Groucho homage.
Oh, yeah. He sings Lydia.
Sings Lydia, the tattooed lady.
The only thing that pissed me off there is they changed it from Up the Hill Comes Andrew Jackson to Up the Hill Comes Michael Jackson, which
right.
pissed me off.
Yeah, right. Well, he just did a little bit of
Yeah,
improvisation there. But there's a beautiful set piece in Grand Central Station, which I won't give too much away. I won't divulge too much. So see the movie if you haven't seen it. It's not that obscure a film. It's a terrific film, a very original film, I think. And I think, Robin Williams did some good stuff, but I think it's his best film.
I met Jeff Bridges
Okay.
on The Tonight Show. And I remember when I found out he was going to be on the show, I got very excited.
Are you a fan like I am?
It's not
Yeah.
so much being a fan. I do admire his work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I liked when he was that country western singer.
Oh, Crazy Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was better than the movie.
I agree. I agree.
I thought his performance is what holds you. So why I was really excited is I still have it in a little scrapbook, one of those scrapbooks where the plastic sheet sticks to the page and these little paper photos. When I was a kid, me and my sisters went from Brooklyn to Manhattan on the subway, and we went to Central Park. When that was like a happening thing, Bethesda Fountain used to be hopping and all that.
Still there.
Oh,
Bethesda
yeah.
Fountain, yeah.
But that used to be there. It'd be like
Okay.
hippies and folk singers.
Oh, I see.
And, yeah.
I see.
And while we were walking the park, I was a kid. My parents, when I was on my 13th birthday, got me a little Instamatic camera that had the little cube.
Oh, sure.
on it. That
Oh, yeah,
was
the flash cube. You had to replace it
Yes.
after you used the four sides.
And it had a cartridge that you put in that had the film.
Right.
And I was walking around with my Kodak Instamatic camera.
Yep.
And in front of us there, we see Lloyd Bridges.
Oh, no kidding.
And I take out my camera, and you could see he stopped and put his hands on his hips and smiles like he's posing. And I snapped 2 shots of Lloyd Bridges.
Wow.
And so I had to show them to Jeff.
So you brought them.
Yeah, I think I was more excited about it than he was because,
Right.
To him it's like, yeah, I've seen my father.
Oh, that's. You were let down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
And so now he's in that category now with Harrison Ford. People I met who, for nothing against
Of
them.
course.
They were nice people, but I just can't watch their films anymore because it was an uncomfortable meeting.
I see. Well, I wouldn't let that deprive you of the work of Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, no, I can't watch him now.
What about Fabulous Baker Boys or Fearless?
And if there's a movie with Jeff Bridges and Harrison Ford
It's
together,
over.
Forget it. I'll firebomb the theater that's showing that one.
I had a similar experience backstage at The View. I had my uncle went to high school, a grammar school with Alec Baldwin's father, Alec Baldwin Sr.
Oh, yeah.
And he gave me some report cards and things that of Alec Baldwin's father. And I thought this is going to be a big deal. I'll pull this out in the green room at The View and I'll show it to him. And he was grateful and gracious, but completely nonplussed.
Exactly.
Like, I've seen pictures of my dad before.
Yeah, exactly like Jeff Bridges was with me.
I feel your pain, my friend. But I could go on and on about.
And it was a terrible thing too, because I wanted to tell him the story about how it was me and my sisters, and I was a little boy, and we travel into Manhattan. And when I started into that story, he goes, "Yeah, like hurry it up." And
this just keeps getting worse.
yeah, it was so terrible.
He was very nice to me when I met him.
Yeah.
So does that mitigate this at all?
No, he was nice. You could see his movies. I can't. And I had an uncomfortable meeting with John Turturro.
Okay, lay it on me.
Oh, also, this was at the Saturday Night Live 40th anniversary. And I always liked Quiz Show. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever recommend it.
I love Quiz Show.
because John Turturro's in it.
Mario Cantone's in it.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, he talked about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I remember, so in this, this was recently. I went over to John Turturro because I wanted to talk to him about how I love that, and he, I don't know, he might be one of those actors uncomfortable in his own skin. It might be that, a lot of those
Like
actors.
the De Niro thing, where
Yeah.
you can't talk to him or approach him.
Yeah,
'cause he's just,
if they've got a script, they're fine.
Right.
If they have to look at you in person, they can't do it. So he might be one of those guys. But at any rate, I had taped a quiz show, and that evening, first thing I did when I got home was erase the quiz show.
you really take these things personally.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so I'm never watching another John Turturro
Is
film.
there a possibility that Buscemi got to him after the Steve Buscemi? And that was the problem with John Turturro? That your reputation
Yes.
preceded you?
Yes.
But you were beloved that night at SNL. I've seen
Yes.
the pictures.
Yeah.
All the people that volunteered to do the show that have never done it since that night. That was a successful night, wasn't it, Dara?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Dara's nodding.
Everybody wants to.
Wants to get into the act.
Yeah.
All right, so,
So
you-
the two movies
yeah.
from a year
I
ago.
apologize for bringing up Jeff Bridges. I didn't know I was
Yes,
going to lead you down a
yes,
traumatic
it was
path.
wrong.
The two movies are
Don't talk to me. It better not be Raiders of the Lost Ark.
what about Bo Bridges? Have you had any issues with incidents with?
Never met him.
Oh no.
I would, but trust me, I was thinking maybe I could still show the photos to Bo, and he would like them.
So I'm guessing between the Turturro trauma and the Bridges trauma, you're definitely not watching The Big Lebowski.
No.
And
I
the
will
Buscemi,
never
the Buscemi
watch that
debacle.
again.
That one was
Yeah.
at your hands.
Yes.
So the two movies are The Fisher King and
Ace in the Hole, also known as The Big Carnival.
All
with
righty.
Kirk Douglas.
See you next time.
Hi, Gilbert and Frank with a little extra correction here, because every time there's any kind of a screw up or confusion, everybody starts tweeting angrily.
Yeah, you people are obsessive,
Yes.
unlike us.
So you had named the movie with John Travolta and Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, I was saying how Mad City, which is a John Travolta, Dustin Hoffman movie, was kind of had echoes of Wilder's Ace in the Hole.
And then I started to confuse it, and I said, oh, was that Dustin Hoffman and Andy Garcia?
Right.
Which was not that movie.
No, that was a movie called Hero.
Yeah, with Chevy Chase
Yeah.
and Gina Davis.
Right. That was a. I'll be kind and I'll say an homage.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
To Capra's Meet John Doe.
And there's even a scene in it where Andy Garcia is about to jump off the roof of
Right.
a building.
Right. Yeah, with Gina Davis and the Barbara Stanwyck part, and I think Chevy is if I recall correctly, is the newspaper editor.
Yes.
Sort of in the James Gleason kind of part. Yeah. You got your movie that ripped off Wilder confused with your movie that ripped off Capra.
Yes. and I think where James Gleason has that famous line, he goes, "The people talking. Beat that, Norton."
That's it. Gleason and Norton, as you pointed out on a previous show.
Yes. Okay, so save us your tweets on this one.